And now we're ready for our side hems. We're going to hem around the bottom and the sides of our product. All right, to do our hems around the outside and the facing across the top, we need to go back to the iron. So we are going to be turning our product over completely, like that. And we're going to be turning up our hem 1.5 and then 1.5. So we're going to do 2 rolls on the bottom, and then we'll do 2 rolls at the top, and then at the top here we're going to fold it in half. Oop, I got my camera all caught up. We're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to fold it again. Okay, and I'm going to do all of that over at the ironing board before I pin. This is the bottom part of our apron, our hem, along the bottom, and we're going to turn this, just get my thing heating up again, about 1.5 centimeters. 1 to 1.5 centimeters is a good hem, and we're going to check that all the way along. Once my iron gets up to heat, I'm going to just measure along, keep going all the way to the end. 1.5 centimeters. Once you've done that, you're going to check it. You're going to check it. This is quite a little bit not quite straight on the bottom, but that looks good all the way along. And then we're going to do it again. So we're just going to flip it a second time and iron it fully closed. Now, if you wanted to, you could sew that like that straight away. You could just pin it and sew that bit. I'm actually going to do what I did with my pockets. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to do this side as well. Once again, just check that you've got, I've been doing this a while, so I can pick 1.5 centimeters pretty well, but please check with a tape measure. So I just go back and make sure I've got it about right. Okay, keep going all the way down. All the way down. Now, one more time, we're just going to go back over that and turn again. And go all the way down. Try not to iron your tape measure. Now, it gets a bit messy at the end here. Can you see how it's a bit yucky? See? A bit yucky there. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, and we're going to fold this in. This time it's going to be a bigger rectangle. We're going to fold that one in and up. We're going to fold that one down and over. And we're going to end up with this nice mitered corner. Give it a good shot of steam, and we're going to pin that all in place. And we're going to do the same to the other side. So just watch me do it again. Going to fold. Check. 1.5. And you just kind of follow it all the way up to the top. Try not to burn your fingers. Go. And then just check. After you've done the iron, check and make sure it's accurate as possible all the way up. And then we're going to do it again. This one may be a little bit wider because you've got a bit of thickness or bulk in that, but that's okay because it'll just make for a stronger apron. There we go. We're just going to check that one again. Yep. A little bit thick there, so I'm going to come back and just adjust. Alright, then we're going to do this corner again. So we're going to open it up all the way, and we're going to fold it right into that corner there. So you'll see like 4 squares there. You're going to fold in and in. I'm going to do the same here. Fold in and in, and we'll just get this nice mitered. go. See that? Isn't that pretty? And we're going to pin all of this. We're not just going to use the ironing, we are going to pin it because then that will be stronger. I'll show you what that looks like when we get to the sewing machine. Now, I've pinned around the side, I'll show you that in a minute, but this, firstly, we are going to, just going to get rid of these threads because they're annoying me. We're going to fold this. So this is the fold, the final fold there. So I'm actually going to, see that's really crooked? So I'm going to fold that and I'm just going to trim this piece off really quickly. I'm just going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to make that straight. Okay, because it's really important that we have straight. Okay, so that piece there, now it's nice and straight, or straighter. We've got that seam, that's where it's going to end up with the sides sitting flush here. Going to turn that back up and we're going to iron that bit down like that. There. Okay. And then we're going to turn it again and iron it again. And now we have that nice edge which we're going to pin. Pin along the edge that you're going to sew. But that's where I want to sew, so that's where we're going to put the pins. You only need to put a pin, you know, you can put a finger space in between. Anytime you're pinning, you put a bit of a finger space in between each pin. So you don't have to put hundreds and hundreds of pins, but you do have to make sure that it's sitting nice and flat. You haven't pinned it to anything else, and now we're ready to sew. Right, I'm going to sew my top facings first. Make sure that you have this nice and flat and that none of your fabric is underneath where you're sewing. You do not want to sew it to itself, that is always bad. So we're going to put our needle in and take our pin out and we're going to sew. Oop, my thread is not behind, we'll fix that. And we're going to sew just right on this edge. So we're keeping the edge of our fabric inside that window there so we can see where it's going. We're just going to sew all the way along here. This is just containing all our raw edges so our apron will not fray or will not come apart while we're using it, because we want this to last. This is an apron, it needs to take a bit of beating and we want it to last. Cut. Now we're just going to sew all the way around. So this is starting on the side seam or the side hem. We're going to put the needle in and we're going to sew all the way around. Get your fabric nice and flat and straight so that nothing is in the way. I have a camera in the way of mine, but you guys won't. So reversing and sewing. So we're going to stay right on that edge as we have with all the others. So we're going to keep it with this edge on the edge of the foot. Now if you wanted to, you could go around this and do a double stitch like I've done on my pockets. That would be a nice feature, especially if you have cotton that shows up on your fabric. So if I was doing dark cotton, that would be a nice feature, or you could do a decorative stitch around the edge if you would like. I might have a go at a decorative stitch. I'll see how I feel. When I get down here, I'm just going to tuck this little piece back in. There we go. There's a little piece sticking out. I'm going to get to our mitered corner. I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn. Put the foot back down. And we're going to keep sewing. If you fold 1.5, you'll end up sewing on the 1.5 centimetre line there as well. Alright, here is our mostly complete apron. We've got our pockets on, we've got our hemming done, we've got the top facing done. Now we just need to do the facings here and put our decorative bits on, and then our tie, and then we're finished.